Alright, if you want to smell like a distinguished gentleman at a very cheap and affordable price, this is a great fragrance. And it is called Très Nuit pour Homme by Armaf. Now, this fragrance is actually a clone of a very coveted and legendary fragrance called Green Irish Tweed by Creed. You've probably heard of it. Obviously, it's by Creed, very popular niche fragrance brand. They make very expensive fragrances, very, again, legendary, the whole story about Creed. I'm not going to get into that. But either way, Green Irish Tweed is, along with Aventus, their most prized fragrance, and it's still a staple in their lineup, even though it was released all the way back in 1985. The perfumer behind it is Pierre Bourdon, and man, he did an amazing job. This is an amazing fragrance. I do have it sprayed on my right hand, and it's a lovely fragrance, man. So the whole story that everyone says about this fragrance is that it was supposed to be inspired by a walk in the Irish countryside, and whether that's true or not, because a lot of people say that it's actually like the Scottish countryside and some other parts of the UK. Either way, the point is it smells like that, and it totally does. This is what 4-leaf clovers smell like, man. Like, it's an awesome smell. It's so fresh. It's very manly. It's very distinguished, gentleman-like. It's very classy, but it's not like old as in like it smells outdated. It's a timeless scent. It will always smell very classy and elegant no matter what time period it's in. And it's an awesome scent. But again, it's very expensive. It retails at probably around $450, that kind of range. Joma Shop has a pretty good deal. I mean, it's like 200 something on Joma Shop, but it's still very expensive, especially considering that this bad boy right here, Très Nuit, is literally $20. Absolutely insane. Any fragrance that's $20 and it's good is going to be worth it. And let me tell you, this fragrance is good. So let's just get into it. So this is the box. Now, the whole branding for this thing is really wacky. That's the one thing everyone's probably going to agree on, is that this is probably the goofiest looking box. And this bottle also really weird design, not very ergonomic. Definitely feels weird to spray, but it is what it is because the juice is really good. So without further ado, I'm going to spray it. The atomizer is really nice, by the way. It's very quick acting. And yeah, it smells great. It smells absolutely amazing. It definitely has all the important things that Green Irish Tweed has. It has that 4-leaf clover green smell. Like, it does smell like you're walking outside and you've got a bunch of clovers behind you, because I actually have a lot of clovers that are growing in my yard right now, and it actually does kind of smell like that when I walk by. So it's got that very fresh, outdoorsy scent, that very green scent profile, which is very fresh, very nice. The biggest difference though between this and Green Irish Tweed is the fact that this is a little bit more synthetic, and there's like a strong kind of projection going on here. It's definitely got some strong syntheticness going on to it, which is why it's kind of like, if you made Green Irish Tweed into a little bit of a blue fragrance, because it kind of has that. There's like something that actually is very similar to Versace Dylan Blue in here. It's kind of weird to describe, but that's what I see, or what I smell, I should say. I actually probably got one of the best compliments I've ever gotten with a fragrance with this one, because one time I wore this and this girl complimented me on it. So not only did she think it smelled really good, but she actually asked me what the name of it was, because she wanted to get it for herself. So that was pretty impressive. Now, this is definitely more of a unisex fragrance than Green Irish Tweed is. Green Irish Tweed definitely is a lot more masculine, because I feel like the biggest distinction between this and Green Irish Tweed is that Green Irish Tweed has like a little bit of a bitterness and a little bit of a smokiness, not in the way that you're probably thinking, but that's probably the best I can describe it. It smells kind of smoky in a way, to where it makes it a lot more masculine than feminine, but it still can be worn by women for sure. This is definitely, I still think, can be a unisex fragrance, but Très Nuit definitely leans a little bit more feminine. But again, she asked me what it was. She wanted to actually get it for herself, so I thought that was a pretty cool compliment, considering this DNA is still overall more masculine. As far as performance goes, it performs very well. It lasts, I think for me in my experience, it's lasted like 8 hours, something like that. So it does last pretty decently well, and it projects pretty well too. Now, one thing I will say is it can get overbearing. Like, there is something a little nauseating about this, I'm not gonna lie. Especially at first, I was like, you know, if you spray it too much, definitely 5 sprays max with this thing. Don't go more than 7 sprays with this. It's a very powerful fragrance. It definitely will make you feel like maybe sick or nauseated. Just be careful with that. But without further ado, let's get into the notes here. All right, the notes for Très Nuit are on the top: lemon, verbena, iris, and lemon. The middle notes, you got lavender, violet, and spicy notes. And on the base notes, you have ambergris and sandalwood. So very, very similar to Green Irish Tweed's notes. Again, really, I feel like you've got almost everything that Green Irish Tweed has, except you're adding that syntheticness to it, and you don't have that like bitterness or slash smokiness to it. So Green Irish Tweed overall, definitely a better smell. I mean, man, there's something in that Green Irish Tweed smell that's just delicious that I can't even describe. But Très Nuit gets pretty dang close, and I do like how they do replicate that outsideness, that fresh like scent of leaves and clovers. That's a really cool scent. They did a really good job at that. And yeah, as far as wearability goes, I feel like this is definitely a perfect springtime fragrance. Summer is definitely good too. Winter, not as much. It's definitely, I think Très Nuit can definitely be a little bit more versatile in the winter and fall than Green Irish Tweed, just because of that syntheticness. Again, more of a springtime and summertime fragrance, and definitely this is like a very gentleman fragrance, like more with Green Irish Tweed for sure, but still, this is like overall like the fragrance of a gentleman. You're distinguished, and I think this is the awesome DNA. You definitely should get your nose on it. And yeah, for 20 bucks, like, you can't go wrong for that price. I don't think anything could ever get close to Green Irish Tweed though. Just insanely good scent, man. There's a reason why it's so legendary, it's so admired, because there's something different about it. But Très Nuit does do a really good job. It is pretty similar, it just kind of has a different twist mostly. Just the biggest point I want to get across is do not overspray Très Nuit. It will be nauseating, it will annoy the crap out of you, and you don't want to do that. But other than that, great cheap clone fragrance.